What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we talked about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, talking what is driving the stock price down today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So SoFi is currently down 1.54%, 24.7 million shares being traded, 41 is the average. So today is going to be a little bit low for the volume. There has been no SEC filings, no press releases, nothing like that. So no new Form 144s, insider selling. So that's kind of good. There was this that did come out on October the 3rd that did signal SoFi making a lot of new partnerships, one of which is going to be with TGL. This just came out roughly about an hour ago on Twitter, as you can kind of see, and it does say overnight on Tuesday, November the 14th, a failure of the temporary power system and backup systems used during construction caused the dome to deflate, which caused damage to the air-supported dome section of the site. There was no injuries and most of the technology was not impacted. The following discussions with key partners, including players, blah, 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 SoFi, have all made the decision that it's going to be postponed the start of the TGL season until early 2025. So once again, this is just more of an update, not a reason to go out and sell SoFi, nor is it a reason to go out and buy SoFi. So it's kind of just an update. Like I said, when it comes down to it, there was a new analyst rating today that I feel is really causing some concern within SoFi once again. That was Compass Point Giuliano, if I'm saying that right. 44% success rate. They did give a sell rating and a $4 price target. And I do believe it did change from $5 if I remember correctly. So analysts once again are just turning like a light switch. They are turning very bearish on SoFi, so they're just following the technicals, have no real rhyme or reason. Of course, there's a lot of articles coming out talking on a couple different things, one of which is just the valuations on SoFi are too high. Secondly, supposedly there's a debate that I'm not really aware of, but there was a debate, or maybe still is, on SoFi's accounting practices in regards to their loan valuations. So I'm not really aware of that. I don't know if you are or where you stand on that, but from what I've read on this, it's kind of not a really big deal. So I don't really understand the relevance of this. Once again, is it a reason to go out and buy or sell SoFi? I'd say not really overall, especially considering I think in reality out of all of this, the multiples is more so a very speculative topic when it comes down to fintechs, because it's hard to put appropriate evaluation on AI, anything associated to AI, because it's a lot more efficient. So you can't really group it with brick and mortar kind of stocks, but at the same time, it's just a mess right now. And I feel like SoFi is just still trying to find its ground. A lot of people still not really taking it for face value, the home runs that they are hitting during their earnings time and time again. So this is why I did decide to buy. I felt like today was a very big overreaction. So I'm going to go over a lot of the other data points and stuff like that. But as you can see, I did end up buying roughly around 2,600 shares at a price of $6.71. So this is under my Wealthsimple account. I haven't really done too much with that. And just on a side note, I am in Canada, so that's why I do not have SoFi Invest or anything like that. But still, moving on, going over data points, starting off with options. So we are just about to head into power hour a little bit, and $4.65 million in calls being purchased versus 2.62 million in puts. So based on this information, there's a little bit more optimism because Friday there was a lot more puts in comparison to the rest of the prior week. So in reality, I feel like this is very optimistic. Once again, a lot of people are probably seeing today as an overreaction. Looking at the open interest for this upcoming Friday, which again is a shorter week, a lot of people are anticipating for it to be above $7. Vice versa, looking at puts, people are anticipating for it to be below, oddly enough, $6.50. So that's kind of linked to the technicals. I'll go over that in a second. But no matter what, time and time again, I'll always say this, options activity is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. But just moving on from here, going over what shorts are doing. Currently, they are increasing 536,000 shares. 13.43% of the free floats being shorted. 120.18 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 1.36%. And as you can kind of see, the cost to borrow minimum, based on my last video, it did signal that it was negative. but it has since corrected itself. So let me know your thoughts on that. Through Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate that there's more than around 10 million shares available to be shorted. So if shorts really wanted to double down, they could, but the way I interpret this information, by them increasing their position on a red day, shows that it's justified. So clearly linked to, I assume, the analyst rating that's a little bit more negative from Compass Point. But then again, what do I know? So moving on, let's talk on some technicals, shall we? So with it at $6.72, it is between this S2 and this S1. So $6.87 is going to be that next strong resistance, and $6.39 is going to be that next strong support. So it's been kind of stuck within that range, and most likely I do anticipate that it's going to stay in this range up until the Fed meeting minutes, which is going to be coming out probably on Wednesday, unless there's something crazy coming out from Nvidia's earnings, which is Tuesday after hours. Which, in my opinion, as it stands, things are kind of neutral for the technicals. So it could be potentially retracing back to around the 639, but I do feel that, like I said, the Tuesday and Wednesday data might actually be able to push it a little bit higher. But regardless, I decided to buy because I'm not going to watch it all the time. I know SoFi 6 months from now, or potentially even longer, the market will eventually realize that it should belong back into, oh, this is looking very weird, but should belong back into 850 plus. And I've said this time and time again, and I do feel based on the last earnings, it should be around the 850. But then again, let me know your thoughts on that. And one final thing I just wanted to quickly go over, still linked to technicals, is looking at the momentum indicator. So as far as this goes, it shows number of retail investors are getting out. So for instance, if you are one of those retail investors, why did you sell at this stage? I'm kind of curious just to find out why, or potentially vice versa, where you like myself and have you been buying. Looking at stochastic, you do see a bearish sentiment right now, so red line above the black, but it is at 21. So anything typically around 20 or lower is considered oversold. So if there's a good piece of news that does come out, whether it be SoFi related or either Tuesday or Wednesday, those data points, value investors could rush into SoFi, causing it to go up higher. So who knows, a lot of different things could come into play, but as I've said in the past, a lot of my videos are just very much short-term stuff, so just take that into consideration. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, if you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below and also the comments. But with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.